From my basement as a contractor and eventually grew it to 18 states and 173 million in sales. Booyah, baby! Either the next guy's going to win the deal or you're not going to get the deal.
I used to be a claims adjuster. I used to do independent adjusting. These guys aren't making near as much money as they used to.
Hey guys, Delmedico SVG. We're live in the Speakeasy, the new Speakeasy. I'm here with Paul Reed, managing partner at Northwest Roofing.
Good to be here, man. Appreciate
Commercial roofing, residential roofing, or commercial?
Very little residential. Maybe only about 50 roofs a year residential. Came a long ways back from a few thousand roofs to 50.
Oh yeah, also moved your volume down.
We moved the volume down in residential, yeah.
So Paul's in here today, guys. He's checked out our new office. We got give you a little tour of the new SVG office. What do you think?
Man, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I got here, massive building, right when you pull up, and then you walk in here. It's unreal. What has it got to be, about 10,000 square feet?
I don't even know.
It's huge.
I know what it costs a month.
Right. It's huge, and it's set up for success.
Yeah.
Talk about scaling a company. I've seen it firsthand from walking in from when we first met.
Paul, when we first launched SVG, a lot of people don't know this, but we were in a pool house.
Yeah.
This is back in 2014, I think.
Yeah.
Pool house office in my backyard. I had a pool house separate from the house. It had own kitchen, bathroom. I think we had 4 workstations in there. 2 little techie kids. We were just starting to build our e-commerce page and some of our products, and yeah, it's come a long way since then.
It's a classic example of truly scaling a company from a pool house to 10,000 square foot office.
Yeah, but
There were like, I don't know how many, I was going to say 50. There's a ton of people in here today.
20 employees.
Yeah.
So Paul came in. Paul recently bought a house in, is it Mesa?
Yeah.
Mesa. Yeah. What made you want to move to Arizona? I know I moved here.
Well, I'm a little bit behind, but I worked here that storm 10 years ago, and I always wanted to come back. And I actually put on a vision statement board 8 years ago. Well, I guess it's been 6 years ago. I put on a vision statement board, house in Arizona. And I finally got around to buying a house in Arizona.
Nice.
Yep.
So you guys will know that 10 years ago? It was October 2010.
Yeah.
If you guys watch this, you might remember the largest hailstorm that ever hit Phoenix, Scottsdale, hit here. I remember I was sitting in Vegas, hungover, because I just we did our annual company trip. At the time I was living in Washington, D.C., working a storm there. You know, when you move around, you spend 3 months at the office, kind of there. I was just miserable in D.C. It was getting cold out. Did our annual company trip in Vegas. Last day I was about to fly back to D.C. Really didn't want to go back there. Flipped on the news channel. They said a massive hailstorm hit Phoenix, Scottsdale. Yep. And I'm like, those tile roofs can't. I thought everything was tile here. I didn't realize there was a whole asphalt shingle out there on the west side. Lots of them too.
Lots of them.
And I thought, there's no damage on a tile. And at the last minute, I'm like, I should go look, because you got to go look. You can never trust it.
Right.
You know, you can never trust the road. Came out here and looked, rented a car, drove around and hit that west side in about 3 hours. Already knew. Checked into the Princess Hotel, got an office that week, scaled up a storm officer. You know, we had 12 million in sales. Never left. Still here.
I think we had like 8 offices that year, and I'd seen on the same thing I've seen on the news. Actually, you know what I seen? It was, remember the old Hail Trace site on Facebook? That was kind of before, like now if you want to know about roofing, you go to SVG, but back 10 years ago, I think it was like Hail Trace, and there were just stuff. I've seen it on there. Flew out here.
How long did you get it right after the storm hit?
Oh, I was here probably within a day as well, right away. I mean, that's the thing about storming. If you know, the old adage, shit or get off the pot, you better get there to the storm and scout it right away. Especially now, because it gets sucked up pretty quick. But I drove around from Mesa to wherever, and the damage was unreal. You didn't have to get on roofs, you could see the damage.
Well, guys, watch this right now. In Arizona, they put the AC units on the roof.
Yeah. With
the swamp coolers and all this. So you get to that west side, it looked like a 50 cal machine gun hit those AC units. Yeah. So it wasn't just roof, it was, even though there are a lot of small 20, 30 square comps over there, it was roof, remove swamp cooler, remove AC unit, which is coordination. Yep. Replace AC units, so it was guaranteed overhead profit. So those small jobs were like $20,000, $30,000 projects, and I'm talking tens of thousands of them.
Yeah, to this day it was the best storm we ever worked. I think we came in, we did 800 roofs in a few months, and it was awesome.
How many AC units did you do?
Well, we probably did at least 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
There's a lot of AC units.
We did. And I never should have left, and I left really because I didn't understand the whole game of commercial roofing. We were residential. We had a residential mindset. We would get onto a job, even if it was just a residential job or a smaller commercial, we'd get up and we'd see it was foam. And I would go, yeah, I don't know about foam. I don't know anything about foam, and there's nowhere to learn, and see you later. Right? And we skipped over.
You skipped the foam game here?
Absolutely.
So we jumped on it.
We did one. I
didn't know anything about foam until I came here.
We did one foam job on a residential house, and that damn thing leaked like you would not believe, and that was the end of our foam career back then.
Yeah.
Right now we've learned it and done very well with it, but back then I wouldn't have ever left. I don't think if I had learned it.
Now, do you have your own install foam crew here, or are you subbing out to?
I partner actually with Jonathan Sherwood.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, so Jonathan and Clint, but mainly Jonathan.
They keep all their own crew and their own equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the foam was interesting here because even quarter-size hail with high winds can break that elastomer coating,
Right.
leave a small fracture into the foam, and
Oh yeah. Now I love the foam
Yeah.
game, but back then I didn't know it.
I'd say 30% of the commercial flats, maybe 40%.
I would say even higher. Yeah, I would put about half. I really would.
Now, have you done anything down in Tucson? Have you gone down that far?
We have some stuff going on in Tucson. Yeah.
Which is weird because down there it's not a lot of foam, it's a lot of coatings.
Yeah.
Over.
Like mod bit and
Yeah,
different things.
a lot of
Yeah.
coatings, but not foam. So somebody came here. I mean, the builders or whomever just went to town on the foam here.
Someone figured out a little niche and came in and sold the whole town.
And now, so you're going to be spending what, half your time here, back and forth to Denver, or?
Yeah, we do. We've been roofing out here for a little while. I kind of like to fly under the radar a little bit. You know, everyone knows we're in Denver, but we usually are working in a few little areas.
You have the New Mexico office.
New Mexico, yeah. We've been there for a really long time. But, just kind of getting to that point where we don't have any kids left at home as well, so it makes it a little bit
They're all
easier.
grown
So
up now,
all
right?
grown up. So we're able to have a house down here, and we're already working here. So, we'll ramp it up, and we've been kind of limping in here. We still do a few $1 million a year here, but
Now, is it retail? Are you doing retail commercial bidding, or is it storm work?
mainly retail.
Okay.
Mainly retail. So a lot of times where everybody's kind of going into the storm, making a push, I've backed off a little bit. We still do a lot of storm, but I learned over the years I need to kind of diversify, and I can't wait around for a hailstorm, so I need to make sure that pipeline's still flowing.
Get that bell-shaped curve.
The bell-shaped curve, first thing I ever learned from SVG, and I still use it to this day, the bell-shaped curve. Yep.
Storm's a bell-shaped curve. It's easy to go in there and get those jobs, but eventually that sucker slows down. You got to have something.
And it's easy. I mean, if you take it from the storms, you take it the way you run your business. You have 9 out of 10 roofing companies in Denver this year. Denver was really bad last year in hail. It was poor. There really wasn't any hail. So 9 out of 10 roofing companies, they have no idea what that bell-shaped curve, and they're sitting here wondering, there it is the 5th of January, or 6th, whatever it is, and they're wondering what the hell happened. And they're going, man, I can't wait for a storm to hit. Hopefully it hits in May. Hopefully it hits in June.
Yeah, it's
easy money.
Yeah.
But they're sitting there, and so years ago we decided we need to make sure that we're set to where we're successful. And that bell-shaped curve is like that. It's like that.
Yeah, so guys watching this right now, especially where I started out as a GC, licensed GC in Minnesota and Chicago, your bell-shaped curve was based on the weather. Meaning you got April to November, peak storm season or spring season without a storm. November to March, I don't care how good you are, you'll slow down a little bit in November to March this winter.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you had to really fight for that to build that pipeline, which is why the Minnesota guys are so fast these days, because they know they got to eat. January, February, March they got to eat, so they would rack it up quick during peak storm season. And that's kind of how I got into the whole market was Minnesota and Chicago. So I was used to that, beating that bell-shaped curve of winter coming in. And then you got other little things like your sales associates are little bell-shaped curves. Meaning you could have a great storm that should go like this, but if let's say you got 5 guys and their stomachs get full here, there's still a lot to ride. And they hit their $1 million, their $500,000. Some guys get comfortable easy. They pay their rent, get their beer money, maybe buy a nice ride. Now they can make their car payments. They're good. They don't need to go that extra $500,000 or $1 million. And so it's hard to find those $1 million producers that forget about comfort and go that extra mile to really ride that out. So that's part of the battle too, is treating your sales associates or getting them to think beyond the plateau of their own sales level.
Absolutely. We would watch it before I understood what the bell-shaped curve was, but we would watch a guy there'd be a great storm, and they were just killing it, right? May, June, July, August, September, they're just killing it. And you would think, well, heck, there's 4 more months out of the year. They've turned in, $1.4 million. There's 4 more months left. They're going to turn in, another 1.4.
Drops very suddenly.
They finished at like 1.5.
Yeah.
Right, and we would be like, we didn't know why. It was that bell-shaped curve
Yeah.
every single time.
We get tired. I mean, you start going on adjustments, dealing with denials, color selects, meeting with property owners, dealing with
Full
problems,
bellies, right.
picking up checks. Your new business rate goes down.
Yep.
And a lot of times as owners, we're looking at it, you see all these jobs coming in. We don't realize that job coming in was a result. We forget it was a result of efforts maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
From July.
And they might have slowed down 2 months ago and you didn't know.
I had no idea.
And so that drop suddenly sometimes just hits all, it becomes
Yeah.
like a pandemic in the office. You're like, where did all my sales go? It came out of nowhere. Because one minute you're busy, and also
Yeah.
the drop just hits. And sometimes that drop's hard to, it's hard when you catch it too late where your sales guys slow down and you haven't hired new blood or you haven't invigorated that team. The drop comes and it becomes a mantra of the office. You know what I mean? It's hard to go, hey guys, now it's November, and you're like, man, when did this drop come in November? We still got a lot left.
Yeah.
That psychology already slowed everybody down.
It would kill us financially because we would scale up. You would scale up to the storm to, how many roofs you were doing. You would scale your production department, so you'd have hires in your production department. You would hire 2 or 3 more office staff. You would hire this, hire that, and not knowing that bell-shaped curve was going to catch you. Then all of a sudden you're sitting there, here's your overhead. Your overhead's probably running, true companies, most overheads are running 12, 14%. People don't realize what their overhead really is. And we would be running up at 12, 14% and there was no sales because we didn't know the bell-shaped curve.
Happened to me and Charlie. Charlie's the first time, Hurricane Charlie. Orlando was my 5th office, way back in 2004, 2005. And there we had the same thing. We had 30, we flooded that market with 30 sales associates. So we cranked it. And then about a year later, we weren't really watching. They're slowing down. The jobs are coming. You're so busy building jobs.
Yep.
We stopped doing rehires, retraining. We stopped filling the bucket with new salespeople and new blood. And then about a year later, it all hit at once. And we were literally packing our own job packs in South Orlando. We had a satellite in Vero, satellite in South Orlando, and then the main hub there in North Orlando, where I still have the house in Heathrow. And we were delivering our own jobs because we didn't want to wait on suppliers. So we got stuck with warehouse, forklift drivers, flatbeds. I leased a freaking flatbed on some kind of lease so we could drop our own jobs. And now you're sitting here with all that stuff. And you're like, holy shit, thank God Wilma hit. Wilma hit about 6 months later. We had died on the vines down there. But yeah, it comes out of nowhere.
It does.
It does, because one minute you're busy as hell and you're collecting checks, but you're used to that flood of ACV checks coming in. When those stop and you're still building, and you're trying to deal with those customers who don't want to pay as fast as you want them to, that's when that
It takes down companies every year, and they don't know what happened. They have no idea what happened.
No.
That's
A lot
what
of
takes
their
them
only
down.
recourse a lot of times is like, where's that next storm?
Yeah.
Or how do I get on the next storm? And we try to alleviate that a little bit with some of our SVG training of different things. And you jumped on and with the retail commercial market really excelled since we met in we met in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
When we were still scaling SVG. I was still trying to decide if I want to be a stormer or jump into this thing full-time called SVG, which is a boutique consulting online training platform. This is before virtual.
Like the industry's glad that you chose this path. It's needed.
Well, after 15 years of running, you
Yeah.
you run multiple states, 15 years. It's on the storm side alone. It's
pretty taxing, man. I've done it
Stressful.
for a lot of years. I did it, and that was part of why we kind of made the transition, from who we were in the residential, doing 2,000 to 3,000 residential roofs a year, in that grind, sleeping in a different city, every other
Air
night, flying
mattress.
there, air mattress. At one point, I think I had that was about 2014. I think I had 8 different apartments, across the country.
Corporate housing.
Yeah. I mean, it was it's ridiculous, and the grind of doing that, and that's what attracted me to going more into, kind of the commercial stuff, and then also just the aspect. I got sick of rebuilding a company every year. Because, January 1st, I'd go to bed on December 31st, and we were a $20 million a year company on December 31st. You celebrated your successful year, and I woke up January 1st, and I was at 0.
A lot of times you're rebuilding a sales team in April.
Right, you're rebuilding a sales team.
Top sales guys, sometimes they leave for different reasons,
Yeah.
start their own business.
I
they
still
go
had all my
hire.
office costs,
Yeah.
right? January, I still paying office costs. February, still paying our office costs.
Mhm.
And I got sick of doing that, and the stress and anxiety really kind of said I need to do something more. I need to kind of diversify of what we're doing.
Now, do you have any kind of, I know like All-Star and a lot of those big players, some of those guys have a lot of recurring revenue contracts for maintenance and repairs. Are you into that?
We are.
You are, okay.
We are.
So you got some reliable
Yeah.
recurring revenue that's coming on a monthly basis.
Yeah, it's important to do. I mean, again, if we sit there and I wait for storms, I'm dying on the vine, you know.
Explain to me like just a general framework, guys watch this, they might not know what that means. What does that look like in terms of, what do you commit to that property or that commercial property? Are you going out and doing like inspection every quarter, some kind of repairs?
So we do a biannual inspection, really. So 2 times a year we're basically going out and, you know, for lack of better terms, it's almost kind of a walk and caulk on flat roofs and different things. Clean the gutters, just a service and a maintenance program. But what that does, that locks me in on that deal. I own that roof.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, but eventually they're going to replace that roof.
Or
Be it
maybe
from a
just
hailstorm.
storm yet, hopefully, I'm going to call you.
On there. So we have a lot of clients that we have locked down in that we provide service agreements for. You know, I have a full-time staff in my repair department that they take care of those things, and it's just on a calendar.
Are these multifamily apartment buildings?
Everything.
Industrial?
So multifamily, industrial, commercial buildings. We have that.
Now that's a special individual that goes in, engages, and sells that type of relationships. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Is it you, or do you have a couple? Do you have a Navy SEAL team?
I do quite a bit of it because I enjoy it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy doing that and leading from the front, but.
Does Kim get you those leads, or you?
Kim does very well for me, getting me those leads. That's kind of my secret
So you're not
sauce.
walking the front door, cold calling REITs and property management companies?
I have a team that does that.
You do?
Yes, I have a team that does that. I'm a little spoiled, so usually I'm a lead baby. I'm a lead baby on there, but I work my network though too. I get a lot of stuff that I originate on my own just from working my network.
Mm-hmm.
You have your power base, you have your base of people. Most people, and it goes into residential too. Most people don't realize who they actually know. You have a family that has brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles. Someone owns a roof. Someone works at a building that has a leak.
Somebody's aunt is in charge of property management.
But I think that's where most sales people fail in this industry, in residential and commercial, is you don't work your base of people that you actually know.
They're chasing a one-off sale. We get so used to the storm side that too in the residential, you're chasing that one-off sale.
Mm-hmm.
You sometimes forget to build relationships with those persons.
I had a guy when we were doing residential. I'm not kidding you. This guy, every year he sold about 1.5 million. He did it, I think, 5 years in a row. He would literally knock 2 doors the first of the storm, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
He would go out and he would make one sale, and he would never knock a door.
After that, yeah.
He would never knock another door
No,
after that. Spend the first morning knocking like 2 doors. He was a good salesman, and he would get a sale within the first couple doors. That was all he'd knock, and he would do about 1.5 every year.
Yeah, there's always somebody that they know that works at this facility or that. And, nice. So would you say your mix is now what, 80% commercial, 90% commercial, and then?
We're probably about 98% commercial.
And you were just 6 years ago. You had to flip that when I met you, weren't you?
Yeah. We'd get lucky and get a commercial job here and there.
That's a lot of guys get. A church on the corner.
Yeah,
My dad runs the apartment building over here.
That's who we were. So we have flipped it.
Now you have an upcoming boot camp platform for commercial roofing.
We do. It's something we're going to be rolling out. And we discussed earlier, I'm excited about some opportunities with you about your stuff that you have going on with your B2B things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. But so from where we went from as a company and where I went as an individual, and even kind of go back to when we were here 10 years ago in this storm, I didn't know what I didn't know about commercial roofing. I had no idea. And there was really nowhere to learn it. And over this last 5 or 6 years, we've learned by paying a lot of dumb tax, trial and error, and that's kind of a poor way to do business. I didn't really have anybody I could reach out to per se to call and ask what's going on, And
Or if you did, they didn't want to share it.
They didn't want to share it.
Hey, my precious.
And I get a lot of people that call me and text me and message me on a weekly basis, and we've been kind of thinking over the last year, I really wanted to do it, and I'm committed to doing this starting February 15th when I have a boot camp.
Is that a Saturday and Sunday, or?
It'll probably be a Saturday and Sunday,
Okay.
yeah. I can't remember the exact dates on there, but that's what we want to do, bring in some guys and really kind of teach you the ins and outs of commercial roofing, the pitfalls.
Well, 15 just shows that's a Monday.
Is that a Monday?
Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
15, 16, Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, so it'll be mid-February.
Okay.
Yeah, excited to do it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are interested in here. Everybody wants to sell the big jobs. There's a blueprint. There's a, you know, the other thing is commercial. We sell commercial. You know, 20-30% of our mix was commercial, usually by default.
Right.
But you'll realize that each commercial building has a different set of decision makers.
Right.
You walk in the church, you know, maybe it's the pastor.
Right.
You walk into the wrong apartment building, they got a property management company, they might report to a REIT out in California. That's going to be a difficult sales process.
It's
Versus the townhome association, where the president lives in one of the units,
Right.
becomes a little easier sales cycle. So where you go focus on the large jobs, would you say is pretty important too, especially for newer guys?
Well, it really is. I mean, for the most part, you're not just going to pull up to this building, right, and go and talk to the decision makers. So sorting that all out, really we're going to give you a master's degree in commercial roofing, you know, and also throwing the production part of it, because that's another big thing. Most people have no idea what it actually takes, because they think, well, Johnny Smith over here that they hired 2 months ago to sell roofs, and he used to work at Burger King, now he's going to be the project manager for this $1 million job.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. So we're going to teach from the very beginning, you know, who to contact, how to contact them, how often to contact them, what you need to tell them when you get the job, and then from, you know, estimating it, supplementing it, to then when you turn it into production, which is the most important thing, to come out there and actually build the roof properly.
Now, are you using Xactimate for these, or when you do, let's say you do a traditional commercial bid that's non-insurance, are you using a separate program, or?
We kind of use a separate program.
Okay.
Yeah, we use a separate program on there, so it's just kind of a cost plus really kind of program. Get my hard costs, and then I look at my margins. It's simple.
Yeah, we launched one of the reasons we got a bigger office, we got really good at B2B marketing here, meaning what is B2B marketing? That's business to business, you know, to contractors, to people in the industry, but also to other businesses. So some people are good at, we call business to consumer.
Right.
That's your typical lead gen, calling Mrs. Smith. We like dealing with entrepreneurs, marketing other business owners, whether it be email drips, or Facebook ad campaigns, or, you know, landing pages, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to be helping Paul out with this platform to get some exposure out there to all your existing contractors. I think we have 79,000 contractors in our database. We can do an email blast, all that kind of stuff. But really, you can also build it's a mirror image Facebook algorithm off our Infusionsoft, which already kind of knows us from different reasons, drips and stuff like that. And so we've been using that audience variable, which took us 7 years to create. You can't just, you know, there's a lot of Facebook ad companies out there. Some of our vendors are our show. You can't just create that audience list overnight. It doesn't matter how good you are. It takes time. These are people that are coming through organically, downloading books, going through drips, yada yada. And over the years, you start building this thing. And then what we can do for like you is we can hit that audience, boom, like that, with video deployment, messaging, and whatnot. And looking forward to helping you out with that.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to
Filling out that boot camp, what you should do, I'm sure you're already thinking about it, but filming it, chopping it up, but now skinning the platform, and then making a subscription out of it, and we can help you do that too.
Part of the reason that we were here today, I mean, I look at it, why am I going to reinvent the wheel? You know, you have a lot of programs, a lot of things that you're helping different contractors for. You already have that skill. You already have that on there. Why would I, you know, reinvent the wheel when you're already doing what you're doing?
Yeah,
I see the team. It's
we're really set up to help the entrepreneur.
Unbelievable.
A lot of guys know us. We do an SVG virtual. We got the conference that we do. We enjoy that. The affiliates and the vendors. What I started noticing in COVID is a lot of our vendors needed help connecting with contractors. You know, attorneys, CRM companies, yada yada. You know, the attorney firm out in Atlanta. I think it's Fisher Phillips, which Edwin Falk is a partner. He's an attorney. He used to be the OSHA. He used to work for President Bush. He's the he used to be ex-chairman of OSHA in some capacity. He now heads up their clients are like Taco Bell. They have contractor clients. I think Apex is one of their clients in an OSHA situation.
Yeah.
What's up, Grant Rocket? I won't tell anybody. But they represent now on the contractor or the employer side, they're having an OSHA problem. Somebody slips and falls in Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And so they approached us. That's right. We'll start realizing there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that need help in both training, customer presentation, from a virtual standpoint, VR, virtual reality. So their board, we met with their board. They're a $300 million company. Now they want us to come out and shoot. Now OSHA's got books up to here. Who can remember all those regulations, right? But shoot it all on video. They put it in virtual testing and video. So we're putting up a project out of them for all their clients. And it'll be custom brand under their name, not SVG. Obviously, it's a totally different industry. Custom branded virtual training platform they can provide to their Taco Bells and their major chains where they can train their employees through video. Very quickly, the OSHA standards for that type of industry and contracting, which probably coincide SVG as a dual purpose deployment of video. And then, they like the VR goggles because you can do stuff like ladder safety in here, really make it a virtual experience.
That'd be great.
Learn safety.
Yeah.
You can even do sexual harassment. And hey, you're sitting too close to somebody, that's a little too close. All those kind of things, they deal with those lawsuits. So there's a lot of fun ways you can start to, people can learn, what's appropriate, what's not, or what's safety and what's not, how do you use a ladder. In virtual, where a lot of people, human to human, I won't lie, I forgot to train guys on ladder safety back in the day.
I never thought about it.
I forgot, I did, we were growing so fast, I didn't really go out there and make sure every salesperson knew how to put a ladder up. But somebody could have died by the way.
Well, we didn't know until a guy fell off the roof. One of our sales guys slid all the way off. I think he broke his back or something. It was a big deal. It was $10.99. We didn't know what to do with it.
You get in trouble for that. $10.99. I said, well, maybe he was an employee.
Yeah.
Maybe if some fancy lawyer, you got $1 million lawsuit.
He had one of our business cards that we supplied him.
Drive a truck, got the magnets on. And so just by having a 10-minute chapter, which we have now in virtual, how to put a ladder up, tie it off per OSHA standards, and read the regs out. They test out on it. That's date, time, stamp forever in virtual.
Yep.
So that just protected the owner from all kinds of future OSHA violations because you provided the training.
Huge.
Quite honestly, you're supposed to do some kind of subcontractor safety meeting everywhere once a quarter. A lot of larger companies that don't do it. So it's a way of tracking it. But what we found out is a lot of industries out there. Now we got local doctors, mortgage companies, people coming in here. They want to film. They want videography, they want it right now, they want Facebook ads, they want video deployment, they want to brand themselves. Some guys own $50 million companies, they have a great company brand, but nobody knows the CEO, except the people working for them, right? A lot of them. Maybe they want to write an ebook. We show them how to do it here. We've already done it. Maybe they want to do this, now they want to start branding themselves. So we're starting to get some people booked up here January, February, March. Sit down, whiteboard out, what do you want to do? What kind of campaign do you want? You want to brand yourself, you want to do whatever. And we're real excited about that. We do that with the E-Squared banner, not the SVG banner. SVG will be separate, but the E-Squared banner, So.
Yeah, like I told you earlier, don't forget about us little roofers.
That's where we all started. We go a lot back to the industry. So you won Winter Storm's coming up now. We changed the dates, March 31st, April 1st and 2nd. You won most influential 2 years in a row. In fact, we had to make new rules because you guys kept winning.
Had to make the Paul Reed rule.
you can't win. I think you can't win the same award twice now.
Yeah.
And so now you're up this year you got nominated for Commercial Roof of the Year.
Yes, Commercial Roofer.
Commercial Roofer of the Year.
Yes.
A lot of awards.
Just Commercial Roofer of the Year.
Commercial Roofer of the Year.
So I think there's Tecta and Northwest and Island Roofing, I believe. So honored just to be on there. Looking forward to, getting out there and competing, getting some votes, trying to win that.
Now, did you win Best Dressed at one time, too?
I won Best Dressed.
I never win his award, not Best Dressed. We can't, SVG people can't win the awards.
No.
But you do get to hand off. Was it Best Dressed last year?
Yes.
So you hand that award, if you won last year, you hand the award off to the new recipients. That's kind of fun. You get on stage and clap them on the back. Well, I hope you win that Commercial Roofer of the Year. That's based on votes. I think you send in pictures and a whole bunch of little variables in terms of how you win.
No, we're excited. It's a huge honor just to be nominated for any type of industry award.
Yeah, we're looking excited this year because the whole country's been on lockdown,
Yeah.
COVID-19 lockdown, unconstitutional. I'm coming out with a film, by the way.
I've seen it.
Unconstitutionalmovie.com. You guys want to check out the landing page? There's a couple trailers.
Yeah.
We're in the final edits right now. which is why we beefed up here with some really good videographers because we're making a documentary. So we're hoping to move that to foreign and domestic film distribution here for a full-scale launch here in about 2 months. So we're gonna do a soft launch where we do a premiere. You and Kim are certainly invited. We're gonna rent out a movie theater here in about 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm ready.
It's called a premiere. See, I'm learning about filming. It's called a premiere. You do the red carpet. You put some nice clothes on. It's kind of like Industry Award night. You come in and only they see the movie. They can't record it. And then you record that premiere and the movie, and you send that package off to foreign and domestic film distributors, who then decide to pick it up and they distribute it to the Netflixes and cut all these deals.
Wow.
So we're already in talks with them right now. And I'm looking forward to getting it done. I think there's a lot of goofy stuff going on, as everybody knows. We don't need to get political, but it's been a crazy year.
Tomorrow may get crazy. Let's get political.
Yeah, it's like half a million people showing up at the White House tomorrow.
That's what they say. I'm just going to be safe here in Mesa, looking
Trump
at some roofs here while they're
I
doing
voted
that.
for Trump.
I vote for Trump. Yeah.
It seems like there's something weird going on. Something weird. There's always something weird going on.
It's so strange. It's kind of scary where the world's kind of going. Again, not to get political or anything on there, but it's a weird times in the world.
Well, we uncover in this documentary. We traveled the country, met with people on the streets. Because what you don't hear, you hear the news, you hear the Fox and the CNN sound blast. I call it the narrative.
Yeah.
And you hear the narratives on each side. And the truth usually is somewhere in the middle. It's deep.
It's so hard to find. I compare Fox News to CNN almost on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I try to take whatever's in the middle. It's unreal that you can't get the truth at all. In almost any circumstance that happens in America right now, you can't get the truth.
The truth is how it affects American citizens. So when we went through the Sprinter is, how's everybody feeling their daily lives about what's happening? That's ultimately the truth. It doesn't matter what the parties say. And so we went through from Arizona to Chicago to Minneapolis. We interviewed all kinds of people, business owners, Democrats, whites, blacks, Latinos, everybody. And you start to see a pattern of people unhappy with different reasons of the lockdown, and which is what this whole documentary is about. But as we dove in and started interviewing different people and doing a lot of research, there's a whole lot of money grabbing going on. And it's not just on one side, it's on multiple sides. It has to do with hospitals, it has to do with pharmaceutical companies, it has to do with stuff that happened in China and research and nonprofits and money being funneled here and there, and we're looking forward to letting that get out. If I disappear, so you guys know, I pissed somebody off. What happened to Anthony? He didn't show up to the conference. Documentary. Unconstitutionalmovie.com, check out the landing page. Hoping that makes it to Netflix here in the next 60 days. If you're a close friend, come on in for the premiere. We'll do a little advertisement for that. You guys want to come in and fill up a movie theater? It'll be fun. Yep. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to head out here to is it now Roofers in Your Cover? You got an AA meeting coming up tonight. We do an AA meeting every, it's tonight at Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Zoom. A few of us started it, myself, Eric Oberman, Jonathan Sherwood, and Dan Young. Oh, wait, how do you say Eric's last name? I thought it was Umbrecht. Oberman. Yeah. I think. Now you got me screwed up. Yeah, hopefully Eric's not watching this. Like, he's one of my best friends. I don't even know his last name. Eric, go. How many guys you got in it? 'Cause you did a nice money raise. Yes. I think we threw in 10 grand or 7 grand or something. Yeah, 8, I believe. Yeah. I just want to beat Lee Haight. I heard Lee Haight at the highest contribution. I'm like, you beat Lee. Just kidding, Lee. If you happen to be watching this, sometimes fun to get a little competitive. No, there's nothing wrong with it. That drives my juices. But you raised, 50, 60 grand? We raised about 50 grand with that drive there. Myself, Jonathan, Eric, we kind of matched a lot of the donations on there, so we had about 100 grand. That was only 2 days. Yeah. Not 2 days, right? Yeah, it was pretty cool. We did a GoFundMe on there, and we generated about, I think, 20-some thousand on the GoFundMe on there, and the whole goal behind that is to, really kind of give back. 13 years ago, I was not in good shape. Drug addict. I remember on our last podcast, we won't go into all the details. Last podcast, we got some great stories of Paul, chucking lines on the roof. I was doing lines of cocaine on top of a police station when I was roofing it. That's where I was in my life back then. So, we still have a good time.
you know, I mean, even though we're sober, we still have a good time, and it's a big part of my life, big part of a lot of other guys' life, and it's a huge issue in our industry. You know, there's a lot of companies on a yearly basis that go under because the owner or the key managers or whoever have an alcohol or drug problem. You know, we're not by any means like anti-drinking or doing whatever.
Well, you're on a speakeasy, so
we're on a speakeasy, like food right here. Right, but we just know that like what it did to our lives.
Right.
And so we want to extend that to other people, and we're able to send people to rehab and give them kind of a new start in life and kind of mentor them through it. So it's been a pretty powerful thing. We had we hosted AA meetings at the conference last year in Phoenix.
I remember.
We have a couple.
We had our non-alcoholic networking night.
Yeah, we did, but we had a 6:30 a.m. AA meeting before the conference ever started, all 3 days. And there's actually a couple guys that got sober then, so they're almost coming up on a year just from going to that one meeting.
Well, I know Bradley
Gardner's one of them, and I talked to myself the other night. He posted a picture on here, and he credited, you know, he was saying about SVG, thank you for helping me. He got to $9 million in Lake Charles.
0 to 9 million.
Right. And I know Bradley very well, and he wouldn't mind me saying this, but from kind of where he was in his life to today, he's sober. He wouldn't have been doing $9 million.
Right.
If he wouldn't have got sober from going to the SVG and having our AA meeting that we had. It's awesome to see people grow.
Yeah.
I'd be dead. I wouldn't even be here. So, Eric Goldberg would be dead. Dan Young, dead. Scotty Rivel, dead.
And how many guys you got in that like tonight on that call?
Consistently, there's about 16 to 20 people consistently that go to it.
So if guys watch this, for anyone I want to reach out, check it out once.
Reach out, get onto Facebook, to our page, Roofers in Recovery. If you get on there, you have to answer a couple questions. We'll let you in on the site. I think we have 280 members on Roofers in Recovery.
Nice. On
the Facebook page. It's a private Facebook page because some people get a little bit weird. Like guys like myself or Jonathan or Eric, we don't care. I'm sober. Other people get embarrassed. So it's a private Facebook page that no one can see, but you can get on there and talk about your struggles and your, what's going on. And it's been awesome to see because, we're all in roofing and we all kind of have the same struggles. Hey, this homeowner won't pay and I don't know what to do, and the salesman, all these things. And so we're able to kind of take the roofing side of it and combine it with a few of us that have a few years around and say, this is what we did to get through it.
Well, I'll tell you, if you watch the statistics, even myself, I think I drank a little more during the COVID lockdown.
You wouldn't believe
there were nights when there's nothing to do. You can't go out to a restaurant.
Right.
My office was shut down, my old office, for the first month. Where I wasn't scared, but I wanted to be nice, so I made it voluntary.
We did the same thing. Yeah.
So I was showing up at the office like 2 or 3 people. It was just not motivating. The whole complex was dead. It's like a ghost town. So you go home at night and you're like, you can't go to the gym, can't work out.
Right.
So you just have a little crown roll, maybe 2 or 3 more crown rolls.
That's why we started it.
You know what I mean? And I think alcohol abuse has been dramatically increased. Suicide, domestic violence.
It goes with the alcohol abuse. Depression, yeah.
My mom's been stuck in Florida because she beat cancer. She beat cancer 2 years ago. She's been stuck in her house.
Kim's mom's the same way.
Lonely. Yeah. They dropped. My sister's dropping food, and now she's come out of that fear a little bit. Now she's around people again, but still, there's still a little. There's a lot of people.
No, it was a huge deal because when we first started, there was really there was a lot of times there was 30, 35 people on there, and you wouldn't believe the fear and the terror and the despair you would see in a lot of those guys' face.
Yeah.
That were sitting here and they didn't want to drink. They didn't know what the hell to do. They thought they were losing their company. They didn't know what's going on with the world with COVID.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Crazy.
And we were able to help a lot of people kind of get through a lot of that.
Well, just traveling through America, you could see there's a drastic difference. Again, I don't want to get political, but when we went to Chicago and shot, I was in Chicago again 2 weeks ago. Took my daughter up there, meet her little brother.
Yeah, congratulations on all these kids running around, man.
Still got it.
Yeah, you had a fertile few months there.
Yeah. COVID.
I know. Yeah.
We're going to do a small speakeasy on that one. But hey, there's got to do something during lockdown.
Right.
But no, in all seriousness, the people's faces in certain cities where we went to film, like in Chicago, just totally different than down here. Now I know it's colder up there, but a defeated, really lonely, fearful look.
Yeah.
you know, just different, like drastic between different cities, how American citizens were, and we captured that too. And Minneapolis is another one. Now I can imagine being in California.
Right.
I mean, people are leaving, people are moving out of droves.
Yep.
From California, from Chicago right now, a house don't even stay on the market here for more than 3 weeks.
No.
They're leaving these
3
cities.
days.
These cities
3
that were
days,
precariously locked down during the lockdown and continue to play this game even now, people are tired of it.
Yeah.
Americans are tired of it on both parties. Even the left, people are tired. They're like, I need to get the hell out of this thing.
Yeah. They just
So-
keep going.
So I think that's contributed. I think COVID contributed as a problem before in the roofing industry. Add COVID to it, you have a serious problem of, humans having issues being alone.
It's real. It's real. I've never, I didn't realize, I had no idea. I mean, whoever thought about being like locked in with your freedom and liberty kind of taken away, how that really affected you. I know it affected me. The first week of COVID, I literally sat there, and obviously I don't drink, but I sat there in my basement, literally like for a week, feeling sorry for myself because I didn't know what was going on. And like you've seen everything's getting shut down. Hell, I thought, we're probably never going to roof again, because you can't go knock on the door, I would think, and no one's going to talk to you. Everyone's out of a job. No one's going to replace a roof.
And by the way, you're an essential business, which means
Yes.
you could actually work.
We were working, but I went into a funk for about a week of just like almost depression myself. So I mean, and we're okay. Like, and I was okay. Like, we weren't strapped financially. We were good. Like, we knew exactly. I could keep my office open for this many months and pay all these people for. I knew, we know our financials. But I was still depressed. I mean, imagine
being a bar
you're
restaurant.
an average person.
Or being at one of these bar. I mean,
Yes.
30% of the smaller bar and restaurants here and this is a more open state, by the way.
Yeah.
Those people are out of business, never coming back. 200,000 small businesses have been shut down since COVID. They're not coming back. 400, I think it's 800 small business a day are going out of business still. And it's going to keep going because, again, it's a bell-shaped curve, meaning they're probably trying to hold their doors open as long as possible. Then they allow 50%, then you go back to 25%, then they say no indoor dining in Chicago. You have already been cash-strapped, holding on as long as you can, and then you're told you got to do that again?
Yep.
Now they might have just took out their last debt, line of credit, whatever, they're barely holding on. Now 3 months from now, you're still going to see the consequences of this because there's a lingering effect due to the bell-shaped curve.
Right.
This is going to continue for the next year. It's sad to watch, and that's one of the
Devastating.
motivations, my motivation to make that movie, but I think it falls into, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, all this other stuff. That stuff's skyrocketing.
Oh, it's out of control.
Well, I know you guys might be getting a booth for Roofers in Recovery at Wind and Storm.
Yep.
So, of course, we'll give you a great deal. Maybe for nothing, since you're helping everybody out. And you're up for the Commercial Roofer of the Year Award, and we got the boot camp, commercial boot camp coming up February 15th, guys. Check it out. We'll probably do a little bit of marketing from our B2B stuff.
Yep.
Pack that sucker over there. You're doing it in Denver?
We're going to do the first one in Denver, probably at the Gaylord. Yeah.
Pack that up in Denver. And
Unless Governor Polis shuts us down again, but that's where we plan on doing it.
Now, are you going back to Denver tomorrow, or how long are you in town?
I got to go back to Denver tomorrow. I got a large, actually, tile job. Miles of tiles in Denver. Crazy. Some neighborhoods have a lot of tile, but a large tile job. I have a board meeting that I run that we'll go sell the job on there Thursday morning.
Did you say sell them so it's not inked yet?
It's not inked
You
yet.
still got to get the ink. Let's see that ink. Let's see that ink.
Oh, it's done deal.
Let's see that ink deal. Are we talking build contract, or are we talking initial agreement?
We're talking initial agreement.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's insurance claim.
Yeah.
Hail?
That is hell.
Hail, okay,
Yeah.
good deal. Just rock concrete tile, or?
It's concrete tile, so a lot of those concrete tile hail claims, they literally take a few years.
Yeah.
People kind of, most guys look at it, there's not a lot going on. And
The ones I heard
we're pretty good at it in Denver. We've kind of got that tile market in Denver on the commercial end. We do very well.
I almost think
with
it's
it.
easier to get concrete tile bought on wind. Because if you have some good wind in there and it's lifting out, especially in Florida, you got the wind lift out, the missing tile.
Yeah, in Denver, it's, the adjusters aren't used to working the concrete tile, so that's part of the stuff we're going to teach in the Commercial Roofing Academy is how to get a lot of those things bought. I use PAs, I use lawyers and on occasion. And it's kind of an unpopular opinion sometimes in the industry, and some of my really good friends are PAs and lawyers, and I tell this to them. I don't think it's every time and a place to use a PA and a lawyer. And there's a lot of companies that their business model is to go straight appraisal.
Yeah.
I've seen I know 2 guys in Texas that are literally in almost financial ruins because every job that they've signed this last year, they go to appraisal on.
Yeah, or some go right to Florida, they go right to attorney.
And they're dying on a vine because they can't build anything because they've went to appraisal. And we don't need to always do that. Sometimes the insurance company, comes out and you can make an agreement with them and you get it done. And that's what we're really good at doing.
Especially if you got your shit together.
If you got your shit
show up
together.
with some stuff.
Well, I know my numbers. I know my margins. I know where I need to be to make this 30% margin with our 14% office cost. So I'm not playing.
You got 14%?
It's got to be.
Should be at 15. No, I'm just kidding.
It should be at 16.
It used to be at 10.
It used to be at 10.
No, it used to be at 10. I said, just think about going to 15. I got 14.
We're at 14. It actually should be about 16 because it costs a lot to run a business. Most guys don't understand that.
Well, overhead is, there's all these things. I used to hate overhead as a sales guy.
Oh,
hated it. I was like, I paid 13.5%. But overhead is not just what you spend today. There's things that, I was a sales guy, so now later on as an owner, I realized the owners are sometimes right, sometimes not. But it's also about what the company anticipates for risk later on, or the company you want to become. And your overhead is not just about what you spend in salaries or brochures or trucks. It's also about risk, future warranties. You got to warranty that job 5 years. The risk that you take, you could have this office right here, somebody could slip and fall and break their head up, and I get sued for a workers' comp claim. Maybe I don't have workers' comp on that person because I got some 1099s. There's all kinds of risk. And so overhead isn't just about what you spend, it's also about putting that risk factor. Maybe there's a 2 or 3% or 4% risk factor. A lot of owners don't do that. The other thing owners don't do is they don't pay themselves enough money. Sometimes you're starting up, you put yourself on, if you're lucky, maybe a $70,000 salary. Maybe you're paying everybody else first. And you're working for free in your own company sometimes, the first or second year. You're taking distributions at the end of the year if there's profit. There's years I didn't make any money as an owner. Paid myself a very reasonable, small amount of money, and I waited till the end of the quarter of the year and there wasn't nothing left. There's other years where I made a ton, right? And so what does that lost cost for all this work I did, working 12, 18 hours a day in my company, what is that really worth? Well, that's worth $500,000, but I'm not paying myself that. So when you think about overhead, a lot of owners got to think about the whole package. And the sales guys watching this, you should appreciate the risk factor, not just the actual spend.
Well, they don't understand it because most guys look at a company and say we did, $20 million in revenue, and we charge 10% office costs. All the sales guy could figure is like, they made $2 million.
You didn't spend $2 million.
No way. They only gave me a shirt and a business card.
They haven't been through a GL audit.
Right.
General audit. The insurance company comes there and goes, let me see your real subcontractor payroll.
I just wrote a check last week that I they write them, I sign them and stuff, but wrote a check 2 weeks ago, I believe, and it was for $15,000 on a mistake that we had made in 2018 that came back, on some stuff. One of my guys, they didn't replace furnace caps on a job, on a commercial job that we did. It was in the contract, we missed it. The roof got hit again, another contractor actually outsold me, got the job, and came back, we didn't replace the furnace caps. I had to write a check for $15,000 from 2 years ago.
Yep.
Right? I mean, so those things,
yep.
especially like in our commercial world, back in the day when we were doing residential, we screwed up a house, kind of worst case scenario, I got to redo the house, it cost me $8,000, that's nothing. Now I screw up a roof, we're talking high six figures.
Yeah. I mean, if I
gotta have that.
If I was looking at straight overhead as a company, 10% is kind of a going rate out there. A lot of guys aren't. Some of the goofballs are no office.
Yeah.
Crazy. When you say 10%, right? That might be straight cost. Some guys have more cost than they think because they're not covering that. If you could add another 2% risk for future warranties or liabilities or lawsuits, you could have another for 2% for audits on your insurance book. You ever got a GL audit? We come back, I remember 1 year, it's like, sorry, we estimated subcontractor payroll to be like $4 or $5 million, and it'd be an 8.
Yeah.
It's $180,000 on an audit you pay at the end of the year, and you got to order they don't renew yet.
Well, I know, I haven't seen my December financials yet, but I know as end of like November, we were running like about 13.8% office cost.
Yeah.
Like that, and we run lean. And we watch our money. We're not just throw everything in the wall and see what the hell happened at the end of the year. Like we meet financially literally every day. We are very, very lean, and we're at 13.8. You know, December, maybe a little bit more. You know, it should be around there, call it 14%, but, you know, we charge 14% office costs on most of our jobs. That's not enough. Like, we should be at 16.
A lot goes into being a business owner. You don't realize as a sales associate. I know I hated overhead back then. Well, I know you got to run, Paul. Thanks for coming on SpeakEasy.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
You're the first episode on a new set of the SVG SpeakEasy. Guys, January, February, March. We got some different folks flying in. Derek Klein's flying in. We're going to do a one-day shoot session with him and put together a course in the university. I think Barry Harkness is coming in. Just different folks coming in for different reasons. If you need help, guys, video creation, filmmaking, video deployment, marketing campaigns, whatever, you just want to come in and chit-chat.
I got to say one thing. If you guys really want to see what this is about, I'd come in here. It's actually the real deal. You see a lot of crap on Facebook, you know, but you come here, it's actually the real deal with the way this is set up, the way that it's grown. If you really see it in action, it'll blow your mind. You need to come down here and check it out.
Booyah, baby.
Yep.
Booyah, baby. See you soon.
See you guys.
Today, hundreds of protesters voiced putting an end to those restrictions even sooner, although it is not clear if Governor Ducey will extend the stay-at-home order.
And a group of protesters is combining a call for the state to reopen with honoring the fallen on this Memorial Day.
Their purpose, they say, was to honor the fallen on Memorial Day, but also what they consider to be the unconstitutional lockdown.
Chaos filled Minneapolis streets for a fourth night. Not even the first night of an 8 o'clock curfew could prevent it.
America, I've heard your stories. Traveled from Arizona to Chicago to Minneapolis. Met with blacks, whites, Spanish, business owners, parents, people that want their jobs back, people want to go back to school, people want to go to church.
And we are not going to allow these people to take our rights and our freedom, because that's what they're doing. We are here in the States because we're free. We want our freedom and we want our rights. Our rights to have our churches open, our rights to have our schools open, our rights to stay home if we want to, and if we want to get out and get sick, let us have that right too.
But we can't let another virus, another scare, a terrorist threat, an act of war shut down American citizens' constitutional rights, no matter what that fear is.
Yeah! Americans are resilient. We've lived through a lot of things, and we're going to live through this.
Right.
But we want to go back to work. We want to start our businesses again. We want to put our children back in school. We want to achieve the American dream. This is our country. This is our liberty. Masks will not help. Lockdowns will not help. You can't hide from a virus. You've got to become a part of the resistance by becoming a part of the strong immune systems that will protect you from every other virus.
It's going to happen. People are looking for change. If change doesn't happen, if institutional change doesn't happen, then you're just going to put the album on repeat.
And I think people will eventually revolt, and if it doesn't change, and hopefully this documentary gives some kind of credence or light to the issue, both on the side of police brutality and blacks, but also for millions of Americans that now are understanding what their constitutional rights are. Because I don't think until this happened, they really knew what those things meant. And the common thread that binds us all together is that Constitution. It's your constitutional rights.
Liberty isn't free. It's your right. Live it. And if you don't respond, suck wind.
Don't let that two-party system divide us. Don't let the media control the narrative of who we are. We're Americans. And this documentary is about your constitutional rights. That's why we call it Unconstitutional, an American story. It's your American story. Wake up, America. You're not watching a movie. This is happening right now.